Hello YouTube. Today I'm talking about defensive mechanisms. I must tell you that people are easiest to manipulate when they do not know you well, but you do know them. There. You must forget who you are really for manipulative purposes. You have to be what your target asks you to be. You have to know to adjust yourself, temporarily change your personality, and most of all, to know how to adapt to the situation. Now, we start our lesson. Defensive mechanisms are, according to Sigmund Freud, subconscious reactions by a person in order to protect oneself from a threat by falsifying the threat. Although most of these ideas are controversial, scientifically not proven, it is not pretty hard to witness it in everyday life. I will explain you now some basic mechanisms of defense that people do every day. They are also good for manipulating a person, and it is also good for analyzing them. Dominant defensive mechanisms will give you better picture of a person, and it will be easier for you to manipulate. For this technique it needs some time, but it pays off in the end. Mechanisms. Now, notice that I mentioned it in one of the previous tutorials, but here I'm giving other examples and it will be a lot easier for understanding. Denial. This is an outright refusal to admit something. I will give you an example. You tell your girl that she has been cheated on you. She denies it. Then, for example, if you hacked her email, you just show their emails. You just show that she is lying. She still denies it. She will tell, okay, I didn't do it. This is classical denying. This is 47% defensive mechanism. Most of people do that. Even if you have evidence, they just say, no, I didn't. Second mechanism is repression. Repression is keeping information out of conscious awareness. This is still an unproven method. I'll give you an example. As a child, a burglar kills your parents in front of you, and you are adopted by a couple. As an adult, you believe them to be your parents and have no conscious recollection of a burglary or your own parents. This is only repression. This is not scientifically proven, but there is a possibility. Because this couple adopted you and you cannot remember. Mostly if children are adopted, this mechanism can strongly occur. Displacement. This is taking frustration or other emotions caused by a threat out on something or someone less threatening. For example, at work, you mess up a presentation and your boss chews you out and docks your pay. You can't do anything about it, or you may be fired. But when you get home, you become aggressive to everything else. For example, you are aggressive to your wife, your children, your granddad, grandma, never mind, whoever finds himself or herself at home that time. You're yelling at them or even fight them. Sublimation. Acting out impulses in a more appropriate way. For example, your co-worker in the office always implies that he is better than you. You have a strong desire to hurt him, but this would have consequences. For example, but you don't want to hurt him, then you go for martial art classes, or hit a boxing bag, or start to train martial art. This is known also as a catharsis. You are emptying your negative impulses. Projection. This is ascribing our own undesirable qualities into someone else. Projection. For example, your girlfriend is cheating on you. The next day, she texts you and you don't respond because you're under the shower, or because you have obligations, or you're busy. Then she says that you are cheating on her and you are not responding because of that. She does something wrong and she projects that you are doing something wrong. In most cases, these girls are extremely obsessively possessive. They text you every single moment, call you every single hour. Projection is very hard mechanism to deal with. This is only typical for paranoid person, for paranoid personality. Rationalization. This is attempting to justify a behavior in a logical manner. Rationalization, for example, could be when a homeless man begins walking up to you while you are alone in a bad part of town. You hit him in a reaction and he is unconscious. For example, you thought that you are endangered or whatever, you didn't know what he will do. You run away knowing that you shouldn't have hit him, but then think logically that he shouldn't have came at you so fast, that he may have had a weapon. You tell yourself it was a self-defense in order to justify your action. Now, rationalization is used for justifying action. You will convince yourself in the end that you were right, that you should have hit him. Now, in our following tutorial, the next tutorial, we will talk about higher level defense mechanisms. These type of defense mechanisms are normal. For example, when people are having a harder situation, or when they want to cover up something better, but we will talk about that in the next tutorial. So I hope you like this video. Remember, this technique is not good for use in real life, but it is excellent to know people. Know them best, discover their defensive mechanism, and attack strong. Greetings.